1, and go. So now we had last game we saw Eventual Demise ban out the Moragesh to get it away from Reflect, right?
Yeah, and we saw a phase actually get through the pick and ban. Whether or not Reborn are going to be fearing that, or if they're going to try and ban it again. I suspect they might just stick with what worked in the first round. They might just go for the Yeah, there it is. They just stick with the first ban. The Chimera ban, as usual. They have no reason to change up their composition. It worked in the first round incredibly well. They managed to get the exact comp they wanted, and they took a win with it. So why do they need to change? They're going to have to force a change from Eventual Demise here. Try and change something up here. They weren't able to do anything with their real composition. They fell behind. So Eventual Demise here have a bit of a rough uphill climb. It's going to be incredibly challenging for them to go up against this Goliath that is Reborn that they're playing against.
All right, and they're actually going to ban Moragesh out. First pick is going to Reborn for Revenant. And that's going to be Eventual Demise picking up the Bellica. And I believe they're going to get the phase. We're just going to see a draft swap right here, right now, Gems.
Potentially, but Eventual Demise ended up going for the Twin Bust, which is a bit of an odd pick because the carry's already been secured by Reborn. Reborn aren't particularly known to run sort of the double carry composition. So you don't necessarily need to prioritize the carry just yet against them. So it's a bit of a odd choice. They could have gone and secured a support or a jungler for Eventual Demise and left the carry for a bit later.
Especially now they gave Reborn the chance to pick phase, and everyone knows how abusive Revenant phase is in lane. Going up against that as an offlaner is not a good time, and they're going to secure that right off the bat. I think that was Eventual Demise dropping the ball on draft right there, giving away the phase like that.
They also managed to secure a Rampage himself, which is actually quite nice from Reborn because they take that away from Eventual Demise, another sort of takeaway from the picks they saw in the first round, which was the go-to pick for Eventual Demise in the first game. In Oblivion has to now go on to something different that he wasn't playing in that first round, forced from Reborn. Something that he might not be as comfortable with, which is I like that decision making from Reborn to go for that plan.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Eventual Demise actually running out of time now, bleeding into their extra time to get that pick. 10 seconds into that one, they need to make a pick fast because you don't want to go against Reborn with a hero you never picked. They're actually going to stick with the Muriel this time around, keeping that as their support.
Muriel, it seems to be a comfort pick for Holy Raven. I believe if Holy Raven felt a lot more comfortable in Deca, we probably would have seen a Deca here for this composition, but elects to go for a champ he's probably a lot more comfortable playing, understands how to play a lot better. Didn't really work out well in the first round, so he's going to probably have to change it up a little bit in his style, maybe rotate a little bit more, try and look for some sort of early game aggression, but it's still, again, I'm really favoring Reborn's comp. They got phase with Rampage, again, similar to the phase with Sevrog combo, and as you said, phase with Revenant, which is an incredibly strong duo.
All right, Fang Mao is going to be picked up for Eventual Demise as their second pick, and this gives Reborn the chance to get their time in. They're actually almost bleeding into extra time. They're going to take Gadget. Solo Nazgul is very, very adept with Gadget. Can definitely pull off some really dank plays. Get those sick memes in there, Gems.
I like the Gadget pick because they don't have the Howitzer, the Deca from the first game, and that is a Seraph. Going for another carry-based, sort of a double carry-based composition with the melee carry of Seraph. Probably Reflex picking that up in the off lane. He probably realized that he had a pretty free lane the first game, so he's going to go for something a little bit more riskier. Can be punished a lot more, but if it gets rolling, that Seraph can take down pretty much everyone in Eventual Demise's current lineup.
All right, and time left for Eventual Demise going once again into the extra time as they're trying to decide who their last pick of this match will be. Are they gonna hit the 0? I think no, they're getting the Kwang. I'm definitely giving draft to Reborn 100%. They have a double carry, they have that damage output, they have the ability based damage coming from Revenant, they have Seraph for when she gets to the late game. It's going to be absolutely monstrous. Phase Rampage, Phase can alt Rampage Seraph or Revenant and have a good day.
Yeah, even Gadget, the cooldown reduction and the mana regen is pretty high. Allows Gadget to get an extra sticky bomb out there and get an extra drone or a speed gate as well, which is actually pretty insane. It allows the team to rotate or get incredible move speed and navigate fights incredibly well. Should they choose to go that, it's not likely, but that is still a viable pick for the Link.
All right, and we're just about getting ready to go into draft. I just need to get everything sorted and out of the way. But I think Eventual Demise really dropped the ball on their draft pick there. They gave up the phase instantly. They had the chance to secure her. Instead of taking a hard tank, they're taking a Feng Mao and a Kwang. So they have no front line. They're really relying on Kwang, on Muriel, to make their engage if they do decide to engage. And that's going to be a really hard thing to do, because that's you're leaving a feed open on the Twin Blast to be dove instantaneously by that Rampage, who's going to do it anyways. The
problem is, to be honest, Eventual Demise is what is their frontline engage? It's not who can tank them. How are they actually going to start fights with this composition? They 100% reliant on Judgment of the Heavens from Kwang. If he misses that one ability, Eventual Demise have nothing. Like, Bellica has to go really deep to try and get any sort of engage with the knockup, and that's it. They don't have any strong CC chain or anything along those lines that they can combo together. It's going to be an incredible rough game for big 5v5 teammates. Where if you look at Reborn, FaZe and Revenant partnered with a Rampage stun. That's all you need. It's just a Rampage stun into Obliterate, along with a sticky mine, from Gadget, and a Tesla dome hitting 2 or 3 people. They have really strong team fighting capabilities, as well as good dueling capabilities, because they have that phase we could link on to any other 4 members.
All right, well, we can get straight into the game. Seems like a pretty fun idea. Let's play some Paragon gems.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, and go. We're now starting into game 2 of the best of 3. NA qualifiers round 3, guys. We are underway. As I need to switch over to our lovely in-game screen. We've seen the teams before, but we introduce them because it is our tradition to introduce an Eventual Demise. It's going to be Holy Raven on the Muriel once again. Atheed rocking that pink Twin Blast as they are now going into an invasion. Eventual Demise looking for that early game aggression they saw to Oxy yesterday, running into the jungle, probably trying to place down some wards. They're going to put one right onto the green buff because they know Jay Leo is going to be over there. Put another one closer to the white camps. And that's going to be a nice early game ward coming out of Eventual Demise. Reborn just letting them do it, making sure no mistakes were made. Jay Leo actually counteracting with his own ward on the enemy green buff. So we could see some very, very early game aggression right out of the gate.
The question is, what are these teams going to do with this information? Are they going to go for the invade, or are they just going to be like, okay, we know that this at this point, at this moment in time, we know we're pretty safe to be aggressive on this side of the map. I think Reborn probably going to be the better team in this respect, even though they only have the one ward. The second they see Kwang on that green or around that sort of map, side of the map, FaZe and Revenant are going to be instantly aggressive onto Ragnarok.
But yeah, and I get to back introducing the teams. We had Atheed, Pink Twin Blast. Ragnarok is rocking the Feng Mao once again in the off lane. This time in the jungle, it's going to be In Oblivion on Kwang and Angelo de Morte on Bellica in the mid lane.
And on the side of Reborn, we have Master Splinter on that FaZe, Solo Nazgul on the Gadget, Reflect on that Seraph, Jay Leo on the Rampage, and Idosik on that Revenant. Again, right off the bat, we're seeing an early game sort of gank potentially from Jay Leo, but he's going for the invade. He can see Kwang on that green.
Alright, and we do have Angelo de Morte watching the team rotate in. The green has been taken. There's a judgment being thrown out by Oblivion, but it will miss. Rock being picked up, landed. Sticky Bomb goes in as Angelo de Morte comes in to land a Seismic Assault to help peel for his Kwang. Jay Leo gets a bunch of damage off on Oblivion, and that may not seem like a big deal. However, that's going to really, really cut down into Kwang's clear speed and gank potential going into the first 3 minutes of the game. He might not be able to get the river buff.
He might not, but the same thing is, the same can be applied to Jay Leo. Jay Leo's, he doesn't get anything off of that, so he wasted a good 30 seconds or so walking across the map, going for these camps, and he's now level 2 at this 3-minute mark where he wants to get the rib buff. Ideally, he'd want to be level 3.
That is definitely true. I'm seeing a lot of pink skins today. We have the pink Twin Blast, and now we have a pink Rampage. Because, you know, I always thought it'd be fun to be completely blown up by Barney when I was a kid. We do have Reflect being engaged on in the right side of the map. But he's going to be able to get away with that and using the dive. He sees the gold buff being secured, and you could tell he was trying to make the decision whether he wanted to go up or not. Decides not to, but he's still hovering in that area, and they do have a ward on him. Leo Grande now invading the enemy jungle with the black buff. The root is going to land, fall by the rock. Angelo Demorte getting a good seismic assault to help heal for the team, but it's going to be the black buff to tick away the health bar of that thing. Mao conversion shield won't be able to do anything about it, and he's going to go down first blood once again 3 minutes 40 seconds into the game.
Yeah, it is, and it's already a kill on the board here for Reborn, and that is, again, we're seeing the same sort of thing. The minion lead is happening right now. There's already a nearly 30-point lead 4 minutes into this game in terms of farm, and that seems to be the name of the game. Reborn have just been farming a lot better overall in comparison to Eventual Demise, and it's been giving them the lead without even needing those kills.
Yeah, they're already more than double CS ahead of the enemy team. And we're going to see what could be very well just a repeat of last game with the team comps being switched around ever so slightly. 4 minutes 30 seconds into the match now. Riverbuff spawning very shortly. Last round was double black, and that was utilized very well by J Leo and Master Splinter, picking up the first kill of the game. Gonna see what they come up in a second. Oblivion is now backing for his first buy as he's very low. He's gonna be picking up his first items of the game, and he's going to be opting for the ward. He's going for a Assassin's Ward to start this one off. I think those wards are probably one of the better ones in the game because you have a lot of strong stats, priority stats you can build into it. You don't have to take a whole other item up for them.
Yeah, but you don't have an upgrade bonus on it, so you end up losing that. I think it's slightly weaker than a normal card in terms of what you get, but it gives him that extra bit of sustain. He gets a ward, he can probably just sell it off later on. Doesn't need to upgrade into it, which I like. You can grab another 3-point card and get an upgrade, but as we were mentioning, not getting the fully upgraded bonuses can be slightly put him slightly behind in terms of overall power on the board, especially when we're seeing a lot of these sort of skirmishes and duels happening from this kind of Reborn. We might even see that right now.
The thing about that, though, we are seeing Ragnarok being jumped on by FaZe and the Energy Lance. A lot of time, at least with wards, when you don't have the fully upgraded bonus, that third stat you're getting is actually it's fronted straight into when you buy the item. So you're getting 3 stats off the bat, which is very, very helpful. Master Splinter now trying to stop in Oblivion from farming. He's going to have to throw out the Judgment of the Heavens and the Light just to stop Master Splinter from going anywhere, who's going to back now as Reborn's getting their first rotation into base and coming back out, getting ready for yet another push as their CP advantage is starting to creep ahead ever so slightly.
Yeah, Nazgul just using that Tesla Dome to force the push so he can go recall, spend some of these 7 points he's accumulated already just from farming. He's been a pretty big beast here in the mid lane for farm. I think it's 39 creeps, 6.5 minutes into the game, 11 points, already got a 4-point lead compared to the enemy team just from farming.
J Leo looking to go in for yet another gank, but Eventual Demise does have a ward down, so they do see him and start to rotate over. Will be in Oblivion, who's still only level 4. And he's trying to make the decision of what to do with J Leo as river buffs are spawning once again. Very damage-oriented river buffs this game, so now we're seeing a double black go up this time. Oblivion rotating over. He's going to grab that one. He still has green buff. He could actually flex onto J Leo if he so chose to.
He doesn't have the ultimate available to him. He's only level 4. He is about half health. J Leo, level 5, even though he doesn't have the black buff, has access to that ultimate, which can regen a lot of that DPS that black buff does put out. And there's also the damage from Soda Nazgul, who has got such a big lead in this early stage.
And they are jumping right onto that turret. Oh my god, the rock just obliterating Oblivion. Angelo Demorte trying to pick up a little bit of extra damage with the Noodles Raptor, but the mana pool of Rampage isn't big enough for that ability to actually have any real effect at this time. It looks like they're going to be able to grab that tower the second that minion wave actually goes into there. And that's going to open up the map quite heavily for Reborn. On the left side of the map, we do have the Obliterate from Nadosic being thrown out and chunking out the health of Ragnarok once again. It looks like everyone on the map has an advantage over here. A feed goes down to Reflect. We have the mid laner going down to J Leo and the left lane tier 2 being pushed. All 8 minutes in the game, you're having a 3-lane push. That is scary to deal with and really hard to, like, you know, properly come back from, especially with the aggression being so strong.
Yeah, it's again looking similar to game number 1, and this might be Eventual Demise's end point there. I don't know what I can really say. That this is looking really rough right off the bat. 4 kills onto J Leo, sits him at nice and pretty 13 points. He has that Mad Spore Sash equipped with that AoE damage, and he is shaping up to be a big purple Barney. Do you remember the song from the Barney theme song?
Which one? Just sing it
Barney
for me, Jones.
Barney is a dinosaur from my imagination. I think is that how
Barney
it
is?
Barney
is a dinosaur from my imagination.
I can't remember the rest of it.
Chat, pull up the lyrics and we'll get them in for you. So as soon as Rampage ults, we'll start singing the song as J Leo just completely runs to the enemy team, throwing rocks everywhere. He just wants to give everyone hugs. That's all he wants. They just might involve a 6-foot boulder and a broken skull. But
yeah, it's looking rough, to be honest. It's on a more serious note. While Eventual Demise had set them up with sort of a slightly suboptimal composition, they've been allowing Reborn to pretty much do what they want. Yet again, they haven't really been going for any aggressive plays. They've been kind of just sitting there and allowing Reborn to do what they want throughout the entirety of the match.
And these are the games that are really hard to deal with. It's just when you're not even attempting to make the plays, you're just letting the other team play the game and watching them do so. It's really, really hard to deal with. We now see Ragnarok going into Nadosic as J Leo is rotating from behind. The Reaping Dash will go up to try and catch Ragnarok into safety as J Leo now jumps up after the rock, going to land right into the head of the Fang Mao. He's going to have to burn that onto the pier just to save his own life, but it won't be enough as Nadosic will secure that kill. In Oblivion, trying to help his teammate won't be enough, as in the mid lane, Solonaz will pick up yet another kill on Angel Morte. Rampage going in with the ultimate, throwing out the rock. And Nadosic focusing his targets onto the Twin Blast. The Obliterate right there to make sure he secures the kill on the no health Twin Blast. Oblivion getting the Judgment ready to throw down and try and stop the enemy team from pushing even harder than they already have. But it's not going to be enough, as a tier 2 is going to go down and Oblivion misses his Judgment once again. It's going to be pushing into the inhibitor now, Gems.
It is, and it's again 12 minutes, the same timings as we saw in the last match. The 11 to 12 minute mark, they're hitting that inhibitor. They don't take it yet again. I suspect they're going to do the same sort of pathing we saw in the first game, where they go back, take the next Raptors, or potentially hover around an Orb Prime, and then go for the win. Hopefully around the same sort of mark we saw in the last game. And Eventual Demise have to do something. They cannot just sit here and allow this to happen time and time again. They've been playing incredibly passive. They need to try at least go for a last-ditch effort or some sort of big risky play to try and catch Reborn off guard, but they haven't been doing that. They've been just time and time again just giving up little bits of resources here and there, little bits of 6 kills here or there, and Reborn is glad to take that. They'll happily take that. They'll take that lead that they've accumulated, and then they'll punish you for it. They'll take more towers, and then you can't do anything against it because you're so far behind.
Like we just saw 3 towers in a single push. In the span of a minute, 2 tier 2s and a tier 1 all going down. Then Reborn rotating into the enemy team's jungle and securing camps. Even though they were warded, they didn't do anything about it because they're not strong enough anymore.
No, they aren't. If we're just looking at points, Nada's at 23 and Athea's only at 14. There's a 9-point difference right there. And Ragnarok sitting at 12, whereas J-Leo's on 19, a 7-point difference. It's 6 to 7-point differences across the board with respective laners. And you can't take fights at that point, but they kind of have to. They kind of have to go all in as a 5-man unit and try get a pick. Not even a 5v5 fight.
Oh, Oblivion going to throw out the judgment once again as the team is rotating to steal his green buff. Nowhere is safe as Barney going in with the ultimate, trying to smother the enemy team with love. Just whacking away at them, and he will not be able to get a successful hug off. They will take the Amber Link as a consolation prize, as Eventual Demise is just scrambling to try and get anything, and it's not being given the medal.
Yeah, they've been denied resources yet again from Reborn. Reborn biding their time. They don't have to risk any sort of hyper-aggressive plays at these inhibitors. They can wait. They can take Raptors. Prime is coming up in about 1 minute 20, which is, again, another big objective. They can burst it down incredibly quickly with a phase, keeping Rampage alive. Reflex Tornado double carry is doing a lot of damage. Means that this Prime can go down incredibly quickly. Revenant and Seraph are some of the quicker prime takers in the game, especially when the rest of the team is there. You can burst it down before the enemy team can even suspect it's happening.
We do have Reflect and Angel de Morte in the right lane, trying to farm each other, get the wave set properly, as, like you said, Jem's Prime is spawning at the 15-minute mark in 45 seconds. And that could really snowball things. Things are not looking good for Eventual Demise right now. Things will look really bad in 30 seconds if Reborn is able to secure that Prime.
Yeah, and Master Splinter has already got those staple cards for phase ready and waiting. The Cards Converter, the Quenching Scales, we talked about this in the previous game. Cards Converter giving that extra boost of health to whoever needs it.
Oh my god, Scar, Energy Lance, Obliterate, just completely getting the job done. And Oblivion is now down and obliterated. I guess it's fitting for his name when you think about it, Gems.
Yeah, he is.
He's now in Oblivion and all over the floor.
It does look like they might just go for this Prime now. As I was saying, 15-minute mark, there is a phase who can help keep these guys topped up with health, and JLeo can just tank it for a very long time. And look at the speed it's going down already at 15 minutes.
All right, the damage being dealt to Prime now at half health as Eventual Demise is looking to position themselves, but they can't make a decision on what they want to do. They're just hovering around their green buff instead, letting one gadget completely zone out 4 people on their team, and that is a mistake you cannot make. Just jump on the gadget. She has no escape. She ain't going anywhere. She drops a Tesla Stone. Good, she burned an ultimate.
Yeah, they need to get this pick. It's the only way they had a chance of clawing back in, is getting these overextended picks onto like Nazgul, who's been sitting by himself. But right now, 5 in the mid lane, this is not looking favorable at all for Eventual Demise.
All right, inhibitor being pushed down as JLeo has the ultimate. He's going to throw the rock, land it right onto the Muriel. Energy Lance goes down as now Barney is able to smother everyone with love as he tanks down that tower, and it is dropped. Seek and Destroy being thrown out as Reflect dives into Oblivion, who is now obliterated once again as Muriel going down as well. Sticky Bomb landing onto Ragnarok's head. Oblivion and Sticky Bomb will get them. And there's just so much action happening right now, my game just exploded as the game is continuing to progress. But we know the result of this as soon as things start to catch up. We can see it's going to be Reborn picking this up. Gems, can you confirm this?
They are slowly pushing down the core right now. They're rotating to take the tier 2s on the other side and take the other inhibitors with the Prime because 4 of them are still up. So the match isn't over just yet.
No?
No, they're still taking the tier 2s. I believe I shall pause it so we can see how this... Wait for you to get back in, Jack?
You can, yes. Just keep casting, keep talking what's going on. I'm reloading the replay because apparently Reborn did so well this game, they broke my screen.
Well, they're taking the last final inhibitor with this Prime as we speak. We see a Theed is dropping down here. Nado's using that ultimate to take down Angelo with that Obliterate combo. It does look like Reborn is going for the win here right now as we speak.
And that does seem to be the game. If you guys just want to see the last
to Reborn. 15-0-24, 17 minutes into this game.
And that is it. They've actually finished it shorter than they did last time. Like you said, 15-0. Master Splinter going with the 11 assists. Not a single kill done from Eventual Demise. And goes to show who the big dogs in this game are, Gems.
Yeah, it was really rough for Eventual Demise. They weren't able to get onto the board in both games. They kind of just sat there and allowed Reborn to do whatever they wanted, which was probably the biggest mistake. They seemed potentially a little bit not confident, a bit daunting aspect to them, that they might have just panicked a little bit too much, and they didn't really go into this game looking, we're going to try punish them when they make these mistakes or whatever they do, these specific plays. And again, Reborn, really solid play from their side. Clean, crisp matches, pre-20-minute marks for them. They're going to be happy. They're moving on to the next round for the next best of 3. I believe it'll be against...
Possibly... Well, we're looking at one more wave right now. They're currently in their bracket. So
yeah, and that will be a big match.
So if one more wave goes through again, it's going to be them versus Reborn, and
that'll be in the quarterfinals. Reborn will be against Pretend Pros of Kingdom of Champions in their next round.
So we'll have that, guys, for you next week. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last of our casts for the PCL2. I got some things to handle. Gems begged me. He pleaded for me to cast for today. So, I thought, yeah, I see that face. You make me look like I'm lying, but I'm telling the truth. I promise. So yeah, we casted it. We casted a best of 3 today to get out of the way. But the story of that was Eventual Demise, not even meeting their Eventual Demise, just their concise demise. As once they went up against some teams who had some clout, they weren't able to do the little bit of BM we saw early on in the tournament.
Yeah.
They weren't able to manipulate the enemy team into a 50-minute game and get that 47-3 we saw the first time around. It was actually quite the opposite. And you can't play with your food like that, or else these things happen.
You really can't. And well done to Reborn, as we said before. They do get through to the next round, where they're going to be waiting for their next opponents today. That is it for us today. Don't forget to tune on to the mainstream PC Paragon Competitive League 1 to see the rest of the matches. You're going to be seeing some good matches. I believe the next match on stream is going to be Hydra versus Finesse, which is a really big game. You guys should go and watch that one. It's going to be huge and a lot of fun to see.
And we'll have that hosted for you in just a second. But to say our goodbyes, I am Geronimo Jack. This is Gems. Thanks for tuning in today for round 3 of the NA qualifiers, brought to you by the PCL. And we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks for the quarterfinals. We got this. We got this. All right, we'll catch you guys in a little bit.